For this Sunday, we have a particularly beautiful musical piece in this communion, Dómine, memorábor, iustítiae, tuae. It's a curious text, I have to admit, and the brothers and I have been discussing the appropriateness of this text for communion, why their fathers would have chosen it. We have a couple of ideas we'd like to share with you. One of them is that in relying on the Lord's justice alone, the Church Fathers are almost unanimous in seeing in this verse of Psalm 70 a reference to Romans chapter 3, verse 21, that the justice of God has been revealed apart from the law. The justice revealed in the mystery of faith of Jesus Christ and the expiatory sacrifice of Christ on the cross. And so we are brought to remember that when we speak of our justification in Christ, we are speaking very much of his sacrifice on the cross, which is present at the altar, which is present in the Eucharist. And so whereas in previous weeks we have been thinking more about the sort of aspect of bread and of nourishment that we get from the Eucharist, we are reminded to approach the altar of God with circumspection and reverence this week, thinking of God's justice. Then the text goes on to speak about how the psalmist has been taught by God from his youth, and then he prays that the Lord will not forget him as he gets old and gray-haired. And this is a curious text, as I said. We should bear in mind that traditionally this communion would not have been sung in August or the beginning of September, but toward the end of September, probably in October most of the time, depending on when Pentecost fell. And so we see again, I think, that there is a connection between these texts and the season of the year. And again, we incorporate the sense of what's going on in nature into this sacrifice, this act of worship. And so, as we were reborn at Easter and received the strength of youth and were taught during the young years of our lives at Pentecost, we received the fruits of our labors in the summer. Now things are winding down. The Church is moving us toward an eschatological vision. The days are getting darker, and we're getting ready to ponder the final judgment, which we will all face. So these are some ways of looking at this communion. I'd like to make a musical point next. And so we are going to sing you one word, actually. It's solíus, your justice alone. Now, if you noticed, we extended the last note on the second syllable there. The word in Latin, solíus, is accented on that middle syllable. And so in order to convey the accent, we stretch that last note a little bit. Solíus. This is the fruit of scholarship over the past 50 or 60 years or so in Gregorian chant, which says that we should try to convey that word accent on the last note rather than the first note. In the old solemn style, which isn't quite a fair name because in solemn they don't use it anymore, we would accent in a certain way the first notes of groups. Solíus, rather lius. Now, to show you that this is this new way of understanding it, which we hope is the oldest way, we're going to sing you a parallel phrase that happens later on, and I'd like you to listen to where the accent falls in this. So this is ne derelínquas. So in this parallel phrase, we have this word derelínquas, which has a very strong accent on the second to last syllable. And it's given its own note, which draws attention to this. It actually stands out because the rest of the syllables have several notes. But preceding it, we have this same figure. We have ne solíus, except that now instead of having the accented syllable on this pattern phrase, we have it separated. But in both cases, where the musical accent is drawn is to this note sol, which we're singing on the bottom. Solíus, derelínquas. Okay? And if we were to accent the do in solíus, it wouldn't work quite as well. The parallelism wouldn't be as clear. So these are little nuances of chant, which I hope you can catch. See if you can hear as we sing the entire piece one more time, where the accents fall and how we convey the accent by lengthening the final note slightly. So once more, Dómine, memorábor, iustítiae tuae. No.